Coming up on Network Africa, 7 people have been killed in a car bomb in Mogadishu. South Africa's embattled President Jacob Zuma revises the backing of its ANC party. Plus, the Paris Art Show puts its spotlight on African talents. It's a midweek edition of the program, and it's indeed a pleasure to have you. Wambisi Adebayo. Well, 7 people have been killed and several others injured when a car bomb rammed into a cafe in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. The blast destroyed the cafe, damaged a nearby one, and left 3 cars destroyed. A spokesman for Mogadishu's mayor, Abdel Fattah Omar, has accused Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab of being behind the attack. Although Al-Shabaab has not made any comment with regards to the attack, they've previously taken responsibility for blast and gun attacks in the capital and elsewhere in Somalia. The incident occurred after the new security minister, Mohammed Abubakar Islo, took office and promised to come up with a plan to tighten security. 9 people have gone missing and 44 people are lucky to have survived after their fishing boat sank off the East African island of Zanzibar. The acting director of criminal investigation, Marukani Mohammed, says that search and rescue operation is still ongoing. Survivors told rescuers that at least 53 passengers set off for fishing yesterday afternoon when the ocean was calm. But the weather changed later, stirring up heavy ocean waves which caused their boats to overturn. In 2011, more than 200 people died after their overload ferry sailing from Unguja to Pemba capsized off the islands. And over now to Botswana, where the U.S. Geological Service says a second earthquake in days has struck the southern African nation this morning. It's reported to be very shallow at only 10 kilometers and is believed to have been unlikely to have caused much damage. It comes 2 days after a strong 6.5 magnitude tremor hit the same remote region of the country. Now, we'll still have our eyes on the political fallout from South African President Jacob Zuma's controversial sacking of his finance minister. The markets have continued to show displeasure at the move. Zuma's actions have thrown the ANC into its deepest crisis since it came into power under Nelson Mandela at the end of apartheid in 1994. But the president is hoping to tap into grassroots support from poorer black South Africans frustrated by racial inequality.
South African President Jacob Zuma is facing the biggest challenge to his leadership since he came to power nearly a decade ago. In a gamble that could split the party further, Zuma is now expected to start seeking support from the ANC grassroots for his chosen successor to be picked at a national conference in December. I don't see why the president should be criticised. We get everything we need, and he brought development to our country and even offered leadership opportunities. I'm also studying through these leadership programs. I don't see why people criticise him so much, because everything he does is still up to satisfaction. South Africa's biggest trade union called on Zuma, who also faces allegations that he was unduly influenced by the wealthy Gupta family, to resign on Tuesday as the country's investment grade rating was downgraded to junk. The rand fell as much as 1.9% at the start of trading on Tuesday, but turned 1% firmer through the day as calls for Zuma to quit came in from unions, religious leaders, civil society and the opposition.
What is at stake is that the hyenas, the thieves that are being directed by the Gupta family, are now given an opportunity to take over the running of the country's treasury.
We're definitely calling each and every person in a country to see to it that at least at the end of the day, or at the end of the time when this particular 2019 comes, all these particular problems that we are encountering in this particular country have been eradicated, not being destroyed.
More protests against Zuma are planned in various cities this week, and a possible vote of no confidence in Parliament.
It does hurt the ANC, because one of the issues that came out in the ANC's own analysis of the results and reasons for them dropping drastically by 8% was that the presidential misconduct, the misbehavior by the president, is costing the party.
An ANC source says Zuma's priority is to ensure his chosen candidate succeeds him as party leader so he can complete his presidential term and avoid scrutiny over corruption charges his opponents would like reinstated.
Well, President Zuma has again received the backing of a major decision-making body within the ruling ANC. The party had been looking at a complaint by some of its top executives that Jacob Zuma had failed to consult them over reshuffling his cabinet. After considering the complaint, the ANC has decided not to press for Mr. Zuma to resign.
That is not arrogance, that is not anything. It is about a self-respecting organization. You know, last time there was a motion of no confidence in Parliament. There's another one coming. I think it's the 10th one now. Every time there's this vote of no confidence, there's an attempt by many in the media fraternity to mobilize ANC cadres to vote with the opposition. This time around, there is that attempt again that those who are loving their country must vote with the opposition. No army allows its soldiers to be commanded by the enemy general. No army anywhere in the world will subject their foot soldiers to be commanded by an enemy general. So if the expectation for you is that we will recall Jacob Zuma because opposition forces say so, it won't work that way. It will take the ANC to discuss, take a decision, make a determination. We are not going to stand on rooftops and declare unity. Unity will be earned, we'll forge it in the trenches, we'll work together, and President Jacob Zuma is the president of the ANC. Now, when you ask me that he is here to stay, you're asking a very loaded question.